gosh, we're here with Wendy Skandarian. Wendy's our Minister of Care and Counseling at Carmel. And just a month ago, Wendy, you and I were about to hop on a plane with our spouses to Albania for a mission trip. And
Yeah.
obviously that was canceled. And now we've been in this shut in for really almost a month now. And, we want to get together just to talk about how that affects families and particularly children. If you don't know, Wendy's kind of our in-house expert on children, and I'm going to give her a chance just to introduce herself and then talk a little bit about children and the stress that they might feel and what would be for parents, what would be normal for them to see, and then something that might look a little bit not normal or unhealthy that they might want to maybe pursue some counseling help, if you will. So I'm going to let you chat on that a little bit.
Okay. Well, I am Wendy Skandari. I am the Care and Counseling Minister. I am a registered play therapist supervisor. So I have worked with children quite a bit over the years. And during this time, we're seeing kind of probably a polarized look at our kids. They're either doing a bit better than they were doing before by being home and being with family, is my guess, and having lots of time with them, or you're seeing probably for some of you the opposite, where children are struggling with the amount of stress and change of routine, just like adults are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so we all feel it, whether we're adults or children, and then perhaps it kind of comes out differently, whether you're an adult or a child. What might be some ways it would come out, that stress and anxiety for a child? What might a parent see?
With children, typically, I would say what parents talk about most is a ramping up of behaviors that the parents wish would stop. So behavior issues, maybe crying, at the drop of a hat. So overreacting to something that doesn't really warrant that level of reaction, irritability. And then with kids, oftentimes there are issues with either sleep or eating, either starting to eat excessively, sleep excessively, or the opposite, oftentimes the opposite. And then probably physical issues. So children oftentimes, when they're under a lot of stress or strain or anxiety, they might complain about headaches or complain about stomach aches or something hurting in their body. And that's a sign to be looking for if your child is doing that on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm. And so if that's going on, what could a parent do to kind of get their child back in rhythm? Or there's some things that parents could do that would be helpful for their child if they are experiencing those type of things?
Yeah, I think paying attention to that child that seems to be more needy, seems to be more clingy, seems to be more irritable, or seems to be more withdrawn than normal. I think really paying attention to that child and that child's needs is really important. I think children need structure. And I think one of the things that's been difficult for kids during this time is the structure is not what they are used to. And so providing some sort of structure, and you can be flexible with it, but providing some sort of structure that the child can somewhat get used to and expect really helps a child feel a lot more inner calm and a lot more relaxed, and they kind of trust that things are going to be okay. And I would say something else, pay attention to your child, get your structure in place, but then also watch, parents, your own anxiety level and your own way of showing that, because kids pick up on it and they really cope based on how the parent is coping.
Mm-hmm. A long time ago, when I used to see a lot of counselors or a lot of teenagers, I would say, if you see an anxious teenager, you usually see an anxious parent. So It's so true. So we need to listen to our children. We need to provide them some structure, but we also need to be aware of our own emotions and the vibe that we're sending off. And if we're anxious, it's likely that they're gonna absorb that too. They're kind of like sponges. So if folks are kind of they might be frustrated or they don't seem to be getting anywhere, they can't soothe their kids. What might they do to pursue some extra help at Carmel?
Well, at Carmel Counseling, we can help. We can help even through telehealth, which is virtual help online. Even for kids, even for young kids, we're able to do that through play therapy, even and other means. And so, I would say to look at our website, www.carmelcounselingcenter.org, and follow the directions to contact us, and we'll get started with pairing the child or the family or the parent with those that would be able to help.
Great. Thanks for your time, and stay safe.
Yes, you too.